AM 1340, FM 92.1, WCSR, the Timeout Show brought to you by Coach B's Driving School, Randy's Auto Body, along with our good friends at the Jack Smith Agency and Performance Automotive in Hillsdale and Jonesville. Tonight, Mtichell Gabriele joins us. He is the new head baseball coach at Hillsdale High School. Mtichell, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Very well. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
There's some heat. There's some excitement out in the community, having a coffee once in a while. People are talking about Hornet baseball, and I think this is a home run hire. A young guy who's part of this program's rich legacy, part of a state championship in 2007, tons of enthusiasm and energy, connecting to kids and getting people excited about the game of baseball. I think it's a great hire. I didn't really think about you when I heard that job was going to be vacant, and then when I heard your name, it just made a lot of sense. You've got to be really excited.
Yes, I'm very excited. The job came about, and I jumped on top of it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And being around student athletes and being around education is where I can see myself, and just being a part of the Hornet family is where I see myself for many years to come.
You have an incredible legacy from your parents. Obviously, John coached for years at Hillsdale College and North Adams and other places as well. The intensity, the discipline, the passion that your dad coached with all those years. I've seen you play enough to know that the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. You've got a little bit of that too.
Exactly. Yeah. I was raised and brought up with a competitor's mentality, and I hope to instill that within my players. I was very aggressive on and off the court, and I feel as though that it starts in the classroom and it'll trickle onto the playing surface as well. And as long as we can instill that in our players each and every day and improve daily, that we're going to be okay.
I was doing, take everybody back to 2007. I had just started doing a baseball game of the week on the radio. Baseball is probably my favorite sport to broadcast. And we'd covered quite a few of your games that year. And then, of course, into the playoffs, I got to do your playoff games. And I still say this 9 years later, the 2007 state title game of Hillsdale High School is the most exciting sporting event I've ever broadcast, one of the best games I've ever been to, period. I mean, obviously you guys are never going to forget that as part of that, but take me back there to the roller coaster of 2007, that title game. I mean, what a thrill, huh?
Oh, yeah. You just describing it gives me goosebumps, sitting here talking about it. We weren't that good in the regular season, but that was okay. We had a lot of, tough scheduled teams on our schedule, and, we competed with them. It's just that we didn't do what we had to do in the regular season to win those games. We came together as a team, and, we really performed to the game strategy that the coaches had set prior to the game, and, we just went out and excelled, and we took advantage of, other teams taking advantage of our record and trying to look past us. And we just, came together, played small ball, and put it all together. And, that state championship game, a lot of people in the stands, ended up going 9 innings, two extra innings, back and forth each time. Beaverton, both teams weren't ever, in the championship game before. And just doing dirt angels, winning that game with Scott Lannis out there, and a bunch of my buddies from growing up, and that's what it's all about. Just the moment and being in there and having your family and friends be watching you, and it's a good feeling. Hopefully we can bring that back.
Gosh, it was so awesome. I got an ulcer watching the game. I mean, it's so stressful. I mean, it was one of those situations where every pitch was the difference potentially, and especially when it into extra innings. And I was calculating, well, Scott could still pitch maybe a couple innings,
right.
And Chris, Coach Adams had a tough call there on the pitching and stayed with the guy and ended up being the right move.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Mtichell was a trooper out there. He played and pitched 9 full innings. That's a whole game.
Wow.
As a championship level. That's something to be said. Scott got us there, and he had a couple innings left in him, but we felt as though Mtichell could pull it through, and he ended up doing that for us. So
kind of you mentioned it, 500 regular season. It might have even been a losing record in the regular season, and then the Why Not Us T-shirts, and the people started believing pretty early in that playoff run and got some confidence, and a state championship is something that nobody can take away from you. I mean, it's the pinnacle of your sport, and as a foundation for you in high school ball, you didn't play college baseball, but for a foundation to play with those guys, with Chris Adams and that whole experience, it's kind of a nice place to start in a baseball career when you're thinking about maybe coaching down the line, right?
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of things that I'm going to take and coaching techniques and strategies that I was taught while they were coaches, and I'm going to implement within my program now. A lot of good things. We were sub 500, 15-20 going into playoffs, and we just kept our head up, and it was all on us. But the coaches, kept repeating us about you have to keep your heads up, you have to keep motivated. You have to stay confident. And it's a game of baseball. They can go either way. Any given day can go either way.
Mtichell Gabriele is the new head baseball coach at Hillsdale High School, and that was just named fairly recently. As soon as I saw it, I got on the phone, and thank you for making the time with us tonight. You have practice starting in a couple weeks, right?
That is correct. The first day of practice starts March 14th.
Have you already played around with practice schedules and kind of thinking through your mind what you're going to do that first day?
Oh, yes. A lot of things have been going through my mind. I'm already losing sleep over it, but I'm not complaining. That's all. It's all what it's about. And I'm very eager to get started. I know a lot of the players are very eager to get started. They keep texting me, emailing me, and I love it. It's just not me, and it's not about me. It's about these student athletes. And it's about them prospering as young individuals, and hopefully, one day that they can, fill other coaches' positions or, take out players throughout their entire life. So.
Sure. What about points of emphasis, Mitchell? I mean, you're thinking about your first practice, and you have to set a tone that very first day. What are some points of emphasis for Coach Gabriele as far as the way that you want your guys to approach the game of baseball?
Well, first off, I had a players meeting, and the first thing I said was it's going to, you have a new coach, new approach. There's going to be a couple things that we're going to be doing differently this year. There's going to be a few things that we're going to be the exact same. But as long as our players are able to adjust with poise, I feel as though that's going to be a key component to, this year in general. I told them that with that first week of tryouts, depending on who's going to make varsity and who's going to make JV, they're going to be graded on 3 different aspects. Coachability, number 1. Number 2 is mental ability. And number 3 is physical ability. So I feel as though in order that way, as long as you're coachable and you're able to, be able to be flexible with what the coaches and myself are implementing within that given day, then I think it's going to be a smooth ride all the way through.
It's an interesting story for you. I actually think it's pretty clear that I love the hire. I think you're going to do a spectacular job, but you are a pretty young guy. You don't have a ton of experience as a head coach, and for the Clay and the administration at Hillsdale High School to make you the head baseball coach already, it's a great honor, but it's also a little bit of pressure for you to prove them right?
That is correct. I am young. I'm 25 years young. A lot of people probably say that I lack experience, but in there I make up with as my qualifications. I was a part of the state championship team. I was an all-state athlete in high school, played 2 sports in college, which I was a co-captain on football, and we won our first conference championship since '97. So I've been on good teams, I've been on not-so-good teams, but at the same time we've been able to prevail. I feel as though that, going into this year, it's a lot of people are going to question, my ability to coach just because they know that I'm young. However, I feel as though that, you can't put quality on age, an age number. So I feel as though as long as they can look past it, I'm okay with that.
And I know that you're always going to be learning. I mean, you're going to learn so much this first year, it'll blow your mind. I mean, it's going to be an incredible process for you as you pick up what the other coaches in the conference do and kind of learning as you deal with your players. And that's the exciting part, because I know you well enough to know that you're going to be a sponge out there and absorb that and as the years go on. And the thing I love about Hillsdale High School, I've said this 1,000 times, so if you listen to my show a lot, I know I say this a lot, but the stability of the coaches at Hillsdale High School. You see some of that at Reading and Pittsford and some of the other places, and you wonder why they have good sports programs. Coach Lem's been there forever. Coach Felix has been. They don't shuffle coaches in and out every year, so they're making a commitment to you that's long term. And I know you feel the same way back toward the commitment on your end. And you're going to learn a lot as the years go along and just get better and better. And that's the exciting part, isn't it?
It's very exciting. You know, I have a long time that I plan on coaching. I want to be around this area. Mm-hmm. I was grown up and brought up within this area. I can see myself not just coaching baseball, but anything really come the future. But clearly, just setting my sights on baseball as of right now. But you know, I'm very eager. I'm very excited. I'm lost of words to explain. You know, my emotions of being able to be a coach for these young men.
A couple of quick questions for you, and then we'll get into kind of the final area I wanted to go to. Are you a sunflower seed guy, gum? What do you chew during the game?
Well, I'm not much of a gum guy myself, but I like the sunflower seeds. I already told my mother that I'm going to need a whole big old container of sunflower seeds, but they either have to be ranch or barbecue. I'm not a big original guy myself. So.
My buddies and I were sitting around a couple years ago. It might have been my wife. I can't remember who, but we were talking about sunflower seeds in the game of baseball. The connection is from what? I don't know.
No idea.
But any tournament we go to with the kids, everybody has them, and now I eat them every tournament.
Right.
That's like, okay, win in Rome, right?
Yep, you see the pros use them, and
why not?
So you might as well, right?
They actually do, as a fan, or an assistant coach, they do help pass the time because you're. And some of my players used to, and my kids do this sometimes. They just throw them in their mouth and eat the dumb things. Now I'm trying to custom shell them with my teeth, and then just get. Do you eat the whole thing, or do you?
No, it takes the technique.
Yeah, that's right. See, he's got it down already.
Kind of like a squirrel. You hide it in the side of your mouth, and you filter it through the other side, and crack it open, and then you're good to go. And spit the shell out and eat the little seed. So.
Talk to me about your staff. Who's going to be working with you this year, and who are some of your assistants?
Well, my JV coaches right now are I hired two gentlemen, Matt Duff and Jeff Miller. They are police officers within the given area. I feel as though they're going to be a great do a great job for this program, especially on the JV level. I have yet to find myself some assistant coaches, but my dad, he will be around. John Gabriele, even if I told him not to be around, he's going to be around. That's just the type of guy he is. But as well, I told the kids, and we're going to have a lot of different faces show up, a lot of different volunteers, and no matter what, each party has to show respect, because that's the biggest thing. As long as one party respects the other party, then it'll be okay, and then we can meet common ground and then proceed on. So
you got the job officially a couple weeks ago?
Roughly, I'd say about a couple weeks, month ago.
A month ago. So. A lot of the work in the off season, getting the arms ready, maybe working in the cage and that sort of thing. You said that you have done some of that stuff on the weekends. Where are you at with that process right now? Are you a little bit behind where you'd want to be, or are you okay?
They had, when Scott Chase was still the coach, and they were waiting to determine who the next head coach was, they still had open gyms that were run by the players on, Sundays. And I've picked up on that. We still do that on Sundays. The players come in. I pretty much just monitor it. And as the weeks go on, I've noticed that more and more players have been showing up, which is good. I've noticed that more and more players have actually come out to baseball, which is a good thing. So yeah, it's exciting because you see a bunch of the same faces, but then more and more you see different faces, and you see that some kids that have never played baseball before in their lives, decide to come out as freshmen. And, as a coach, you're like, ooh, you kind of take a step back.
Right.
But as long as you're able to take more steps forward with those type of players and not just develop them as athletes, but as young men as well, I think that's just phenomenal. So
yeah, well said. Mtichell Gabriele is the new head baseball coach at Hillsdale High School. And what's your approach to recruiting? Obviously, you have other spring sports available to the kids, whether it be golf or or track or whatever the case may be. And you don't want to step on anybody's toes, but you want athletes in your program too. And what's going to be Mtichell Gabriele's approach to talking to kids who are sort of on the fence about baseball?
Well, I'm open arms to anybody who is interested in playing the sport of baseball. I know that they might have other, sports that they're in, and that's okay. I've talked and sat with the athletic director and Clay Scheinman, and we pretty much have filtered out that if a student athlete decides that they would like to dual sport, they have to pick a priority sport, which is totally okay with us. Therefore, if they pick track over baseball but still want to play baseball, then when major track events are, they go to that instead of our baseball if there is conflict. Now, if there isn't conflict, then we're good to go. But if vice versa, and if they pick baseball as their priority, then if we're in districts or something, they have to miss like the state individual meet or something like that. So
you have it all worked out,
right? Yep.
Will you talk to a kid and try to talk them into playing baseball, or is it just taking the kids who really want to do it?
Well, it's first off taking the kids that really want to do it, because I feel as though that they're all in already. I'd rather have kids that are all in than on the fence, because if you're on the fence, I'm not too sure if you're going to give me 100% every single day, because you might be thinking about the other sport or what ifs. A lot of what ifs if you're on the fence. But I'm not much of an approach type of guy, especially in my first year. I kind of want student athletes to see what all I'm doing, hear what all I'm doing, and then hopefully they'll be about it maybe next year or further years to come. I'm not one guy that's going to go and take athletes from different, sports.
You're not poaching people's teams or anything like that. Your dad used to go I'm going to put this the right way. He would get after officials from time to time. You helped out in football this year and have been around coaching in sports your whole life. Will the Hillsdale County umpires and beyond hear from Mtichell Gabriele as a first-year coach, or will you try to, how do you envision you dealing with umpires? So let me just put it that way. Well,
first off, I was a little hot-tempered being an athlete, and, it took a 180 as a coach. You try not to worry as much on the officials as you can.
Right.
I try to tell my players as well, do not complain over things you cannot control. So if I can't control a certain call, don't complain about it. It's only going to drag you down even further. And not just now that I'm in a head coaching position, it's not going to just drag myself down, but it'll drag the team down and the players down. So, I already told the players, no offense to you umpires out there, but you're not that good at the high school level, and it's okay. We love that you're out there helping us out, because it wouldn't be for you if we wouldn't be able to play baseball. So, but you have an opportunity to make many mistakes as an umpire. You have 4 balls and 3 strikes. You have 7 opportunities to make a mistake, and we're not going to leave it in the eyes and the hands of an umpire. The only time I plan on arguing a call is if I see a lack of consistency. If I don't see it as if it's a consistent bad call, then that's that umpire's call, no matter what. And if I don't feel as though the consistency is there within our given team or each team, then I'll pursue on to present my argument. So I feel as though and it was a stepping stone type of thing. Football, I was out there kind of a little bit new to the whole coaching aspects of it. Kind of had a little bit vocal mishaps, but moving on to basketball and now baseball, I was able to get a good grasp on my attitude towards the umpires and referees. So hopefully that won't be an issue at all this whole season.
Mtichell Gabriele is the new coach. I'm going to let you go in a second. The first time that you put on that Hillsdale High School baseball uniform and lead your team out onto a field in a real game, it's going to be a proud moment, isn't it?
It's going to be very proud. And I'm an emotional guy. A lot of people don't know that about me, and a lot of people don't know that about my father as well. We're some teddy bears. Yes, we may come off as pretty aggressive, competitive individuals, but however, we can shed a tear once in a while. But as long as it's with good company, and I'm just excited to get out there and give it all I can, because I know that as long as I give it all I can, then my team will follow. So,
are you pretty good at landscaping?
I'm decent at landscaping,
because you're going to do a lot of that this year. It's amazing how much the rain plays into it. It's a tough time of year, obviously, with the season that we have, and you got to be able to get some fields that really aren't playable in a hurry sometimes, don't you?
Oh yeah. Growing up, I had a lawn care business and still kind of do, and hopefully that's going to help me out with the grounds crew. We plan on doing a whole bunch of grounds crew stuff during spring break, so hopefully we get the field all ready to go for this upcoming year, and hopefully it won't be a problem. So,
well, congratulations, man. It's a great story. I'm definitely excited to go watch some Hornet baseball this year and look forward to a great career from Mtichell Gabriele. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mtichell Gabriele is the new head baseball coach. We'll be following his teams throughout the year, and who knows, maybe we'll give him a call later on in the season and just catch up with him and see how it's going. We'll have the panel in next. A lot to talk about with MP and Rick right after this on the Time Out Show.